Okay kids, today's lesson is going to be on 3 angles formed by transversals. The first thing I'm going to do is define for you what a transversal is. And a transversal is a line that intersects two coplanar lines at different points. And I've drawn for you two examples of a transversal crossing over two coplanar lines. So in example 1, the first blue line is going to be called line 1, and the second blue line we'll call line 2. These don't even have to be called anything, but just for discussion purposes, I'll call them lines 1 and lines 2. This is the transversal here in red, so I'll call that T for transversal. And the first thing that I'd like you to observe is that when the transversal intersects each of the two coplanar lines, there are 8 angles formed in total. And I'm going to number them for you now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now there's no special way that these have to be numbered. I just want to show you that in this situation 8 angles are formed. The same thing happens over here. The red line is the transversal. I'll call this line M and I'll call this line N. And again, there's 4 angles formed here, and there's 4 angles formed here. This time I'm going to number them, but just going straight across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, the point of this lesson, this unit in the book, is to make comparisons with one of the angles from this grouping of 4 with angles in this grouping of 4. So we're going to compare and give names or classifications to pairings of angles, one from this grouping and one from that grouping. And the question that I usually get is, why aren't we just focusing on one group and making classifications with those? And the answer to that is you already know. If I said to you, let's talk about angle 1 and angle 2, you already know about angle 1 and angle 2. They form a linear pair, so therefore they are supplementary. So 1 and 2 you already know about. What if we took something like angle 2 and angle 5? Angle 2 and angle 5, well, if we look at the diagram, angle 2 and angle 5 are vertical angles. And we already know about vertical angles are congruent. So if we try to take any two angles from this little cluster, we already know what the outcome is going to be. They're either going to be supplementary or congruent. So the point of this lesson is to make a classification between one of the angles selected from this grouping and one of the angles selected there, and to see if there's some sort of relationship. So that is what this lesson 3.3 is all about. In this case, we'll call this line A, we'll call this line B, and again we'll always stick with T for transversal. The first question asks how many angles are formed when these intersect. And I think we already know that the answer is 8. But just for clarification, I'll number them one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The next question asks how many regions are formed. Now what they mean by that is, in drawing the transversal, we create 2 regions, an exterior region and an interior region. Exterior means on the outside. So this is going to be an exterior region. So I'm going to put EXT for exterior. Over here, this is also exterior. Exterior meaning on the outside. So this is EXT as well. Now, if I jump over to here, this little region here is sort of enclosed on 3 sides. This I'm going to call an interior region and put INT for interior. The same thing happens on this side. It's enclosed on 3 sides, so this is an interior region. And when we move down to these bottom 2 regions, they're both exterior. They're a little bit open, they're exposed, they're not closed in by 3 sides. So when the question asks how many regions are formed, the answer is 6. There are 6 regions formed, and there are 2 types. 6 regions are formed, 2 types. One of them is going to be exterior. and the other is going to be interior. Okay. Now we're going to start talking about specific types of angles that are formed when this situation occurs. The first type is called the same side interior angles. These are two angles that exist on the same side of the transversal and both in the interior region. Okay, so let me read that again. Two angles that exist on the same side of the transversal and both in the interior region. So let's call this the left side. All the angles 1, 3, 5, and 7 will be on the left side. And we'll call this the right side. And angles 2, 4, 6, and 8 will be on the right side. So if I'm looking to select a pair of angles that are on the same side of the transversal and both in the interior region, we've got a couple of options. Remember too that I'm picking one angle from this cluster and one angle from this cluster. So the word interior signals to me that I should be looking on the inside. So let's take angle 3. 3 is in the interior. So if I pick angle 3, and I'll put a little star by this, and I need another interior angle on the same side from this cluster, there's really only one option, and that's going to be angle 5. So angle 3 and angle 5 are same side interior angles. But there's another pair. If I take a look at angle 4, and I'll put a check by angle 4 is on the right side of the transversal. It's also from this upper cluster. So I now need to take another angle from the bottom cluster that's also on the right side and also in the interior region. And that's going to be angle 6. So angle 4 and angle 6 are also same side interior angles. Okay, the next classification is going to be same side exterior angles. And this is going to be a very similar definition to same side interior, except we're going to replace the word interior with exterior. So it's going to be two angles that exist on the same side of the transversal on the same side of the transversal, I'm abbreviating that, and both in the exterior regions. Okay, so now I think I'll switch to a different color here, just maybe it'll be a little easier to see. I'm going to go to orange here. So I want it same side. So let's first focus on the left. I want exterior region, and one from the upper cluster and one from the lower cluster. So if I'm on the left side, upper cluster, exterior, I'm going to do this angle here. I'll call it heart, 1. So now I'm going to pick something from this cluster on the same side, which would be the left side, and the exterior, and that leaves us just one choice. That's 7. So angle 1 and angle 7 are same side exterior angles. Okay, so that was taking it from the left side. Now if I take it from the right side, upper cluster, right side, exterior, that's going to be angle 2. So I'll put, I don't know, a double star here. So I need something from this cluster on the same side, also the exterior region, that's going to be angle 8. So angle 2 and angle 8. So hopefully you're not finding that this is too bad. It's a lot of new vocabulary, but a lot of the terms themselves sort of reveal what the definition is. So it's not so bad, it just takes a little bit of practice and you'll be fine.